Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy, my channel's Finding Value. Today we're going to do our daily technical analysis update of gold and silver. We'll go over the dollar, 10-year yield. 10-year yield's doing some crazy stuff today. We'll go over precious metals and then all the ETFs and companies themselves. And I'll let you know my financial opinion on the market. It's just my financial opinion. Please don't use it as advice. And here we go. So we've got the dollar up. I've got a long-term big picture view of the dollar. Lots of resistance here, all the way at 103, 104. I don't think we're going to get there. I think we're going to hit this guy maybe if we were to come up and tag this, and then I think we're going to retreat. That's if it gets that high. If we go and zoom in, we've been coming on down. We're getting a little bit of support right where we're at. Dollar up today, 0.11%. But that's what we've got a picture for the dollar. Looking at the 10-year yield, this guy's breaking out of this pattern. It's basically a pennant formation pattern coming from the bottom up, consolidates, and then we broke it to the upside. Big picture view, you can see this guy's peeking out on a monthly candlestick basis. It is still in a upward trend. We are breaking this long-term downtrend where rates could substantially go higher. Now, does that mean that I'm predicting substantially higher rates? Not necessarily, because I'm sure there's going to do some sort of manipulation with rates at some point. But what this is saying is that rates under a free market would want to go higher. They're going to go higher until they probably start to break something. That's my guess. I don't know what rate that's going to be. With rates going up, that does rotate money into precious metals and commodities. So at what point, a lot of people are going to ask, at what point is the interest rate really going to start a rotation of money? I think it's already started, but I don't know when the bulk of it really starts to hit. I don't know if it's 2%. I don't know if it's 2.5% or 3%. Some amount is going to trigger people to sell their bonds and stocks and go into precious metals and commodities. Looking at gold itself, we're right at the tip here. It's a continuation pennant flag pattern. We zoom in to do the daily candlesticks, and what I've got here is a sideways motion until we break out of this pattern. I've just got kind of a high here and a low here. I'm going to say that we're going sideways until we break. I think we're going to break to the upside based off of the market fundamentals, based off of inflation and interest rates. But that's me. Usually breaking to the downside means that you have a deflation. We do not have deflation. We have inflation. And we're not in we could be in a disinflation period for a very short period between stimulus checks and money versus the real estate loans. But between that period, it's too difficult to really figure out what may happen. So I'm just holding on. I'm waiting for a move to the upside. That's what I'm expecting in here. And I've got silver doing the same thing, going sideways till in this channel till we break out of it. Platinum, it's going to be very similar to the other two. I would suspect that platinum's going to outperform at some point. That's what I'm waiting for. We still have a very good formation here. The sellers aren't really smoking it to the downside, and the buyers haven't really pushed it higher. They tried to, but we keep getting selling pressure as we try to push it higher for platinum. On a long-term perspective, though, platinum looks, I would say, very good. We've got a break to the upside, a retest right now, and I would suspect that it would break to the upside at any point here. Looking at Karora Resources, this is an individual company. We have a bullish engulfing. What I'm going to write on here is I'm expecting a move to go up. That's what this bullish engulfing pattern is. This guy's engulfing. If I can draw it, it's engulfing the days before it. Usually that results in a move higher. EXK, it's right at the support line I've got drawn in here. Through this guy here. So we'll see if this support line holds or if we break to the downside, which is a possibility. We could see a further pullback. And what I'm seeing here is a shoulder head type shoulder movement where we could break and come back down, down a little bit more. Looking at SILJ, we've got a bullish piercing, so hopefully we can get a little bit more upward momentum. That's what a bullish piercing is. The opening price closes, it opens lower and closes above the halfway point of the candlestick before it. So that usually resolves itself upward. But this is just a short-term pattern. It could go upward to this resistance line right above it and then head lower. So, I mean, that's what I'm seeing. Another bullish piercing for a move to the upside. MMNGF, this is metallic minerals. Looks like we're trying to find a bottom in here. We've got wicks on the bottom here, and then we've got a nice little cross pattern where the buying and sell, the buying pressure, selling pressure equals each other. We're starting to come to form or try to turn into a bottom. Koya Silver putting in a bullish engulfing. It's engulfing the ones the day before it, almost the other day before it. Usually this resolves itself to the upside. Looking at Discovery Silver, basically a flat day today. We've come on down. I don't have too much to really say there. I'm just kind of looking across. First Majestic, I have a spot coming down, and then we make bounce back up. This is almost a bullish engulfing. It's a really small one. We'll see where it goes. Newmont, this is a bullish engulfing. Yeah, we had a small down day today, but I still think it's going to resolve higher with the way these patterns and the sizes of the candlesticks. Bigger buying pressure, smaller selling pressure. I would assume it's going to go higher. Mag Silver, with the pattern I have, is it could potentially roll over. We have a small update. The buying pressure isn't in here. I don't see any large buying pressure in this. So I would suspect that the selling pressure will remain until it doesn't. AUY, a flat day today. It looks like we do have some good buying pressure in this little box down here. It seems like we're bouncing off of it and we're holding. So hopefully that holds and we can maybe try to make a move higher. Impact Silver's right at support resistance line. Aftermath Silver right at support resistance line. It's just bouncing sideways. Arcana Gold support resistance line. We're right there. And Platinum Group Metals, we're right at this kind of support resistance line that we're trying to figure out what we want to do here. Looking at the royalty companies, this is Sandstorm Gold. I've got a little bit more downward pressure from this pattern, that bearish engulfing there. That's why I have this going down. Now we got to find out, are we going to find some support here? And we've got this line going up right there. And obviously it's a little hard to draw that way, but there's the line. That's our support line. We went right into the support line. I'm going to delete this and we'll see where this thing heads. We've got Franco-Nevada. This thing's just been chopping sideways. This is a battle of buyers and sellers slapping each other in the face. And what I mean by that, we have two large, this is a pretty large downward movement. It's got to work off this movement. So it's been zigzagging back and forth. And then we get punched again in the face. But then the buyers came in and did some slapping themselves. Then we got punched again in the face here. So every movement, either up or down, is getting slapped. Sellers getting slapped, buyers getting slapped. Everyone's getting slapped in this back and forth action in here for Franco-Nevada. EMX, I've got a little bit more downward pressure. There is some support underneath here. So we'll see if we hit the support area down here or if we're just going to move on up. The buyers and sellers look pretty equal over here. I mean, I see this big down candlestick there. I see a nice good move, upward move here where it kind of leaked out. We tried to break and then somebody came in and sold this thing off. And I think we're going to do kind of a little bit of a bounce there. Teuton Resources, TEUTF. I had a pullback. We've gotten our pullback here. We'll see where we're at. We're right at support. We'll see if it holds. Wheaton Precious Metals. We've gotten our well, I've drawn this in here, and it's been a correct call. So we came up and reversed on this candlestick here. It's closed, came back, and now we're trying to find some support where we can try to turn this thing higher. Gold Royalty, GROY, this thing has rolled over. It looks a little bit better now. Let's see what happens here, because we've got big buying pressure, and we've got large selling pressure down. Buyers responded, and then the sellers came in, and we're kind of just settling here for, I think, a turn higher for Gold Royalty. Metallo Royalty's been riding the bottom of its support line. We're right on it right now. We'll see which way this thing breaks. Sometimes when they ride the bottom like this, they want to break to the downside. I just find it hard to believe that we want to break to the downside in an inflationary environment with rising interest rates. That's like gold's move, but we might be early in this move still. And the money just hasn't rotated yet. We've got some support down here. That's what we're bouncing off of for MMX, Mavericks Metals. Royal Gold, we're just chopping sideways, but this one looks good. We've got nice, good buying pressure here, came down, bigger buying pressure. It's like we're just leaking the sellers out of this thing before we move on. I would say higher, but you can't be split in this, guys. It's they're all either going to go higher, they're all going to go lower. It's kind of hard to read what this is actually doing, because we've got all these mixed signals. Like this is a really good break here, and then this day here, it's like, what the heck happened? That one day there, it's a bearish piercing that came on down. This is a hammer pattern with the bullish piercing coming on up, and this still looks okay to move higher. But I'm getting mixed signals on the entire sector here, in mining companies and royalty companies. So we got to see which way. I think gold needs to go higher for these things to go higher. I think they're just waiting. They're moving sideways. They're chopping all over the place. It's lost for direction. And I think if gold starts to move on higher, it'll find its direction and go whichever way gold goes. So that's my take there. Give me a thumbs up if you guys like the content. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And thank you for listening. This is Finding Value.